becoming a Christian gets talked about a lot, but when somebody leaves Christianity and they have a breakup with Jesus, what happens then? I read something this week on Facebook that was a person who was talking about having left the Christian faith over a decade ago. And I haven't really been able to stop thinking about it because he said that even though he's been gone, he didn't leave out of rebellion or any desire to sin, but he kind of left kicking and screaming and with a lot of sadness and regret. And he also said that his life as a Christian was more fulfilling and rewarding. So it made me start to wonder, well, why would you leave? And he claims he left because it just didn't make sense to him anymore. So the more that I thought about it, I started to realize that I actually did have a similar experience. And now, before I jump into this today, I do want to acknowledge that I recognize that I'm recording this a bit late this week. So usually I come live on Tuesday and it is Friday. So I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks. And the first week was all about my kids and my grandkids. And hopefully last week you got to see the video of me interviewing my 14-year-old grandson, Brian. And if you did miss it, it will be linked here at the end of this video. So make sure you get to watch it because it was pretty insightful and it was fun. So anyway, this week was all about my siblings visiting me. And this time that we have together now at this stage of life is very precious and not something that we get to do that often. So I really wanted to be fully present with them and not have to be thinking about getting online and what I was going to, doing the recording and all of that. Although this thought has been in the back of my mind all week about this question: what happens when somebody leaves and breaks up with Jesus? And so I wanted to let you know that I am going to be putting a lot of thought into my newsletter this week. And I want you to start thinking about this question and maybe thinking for yourself what you would say about breaking up with Jesus and how, if you are someone who is struggling in this area, you would want to find your way back, or how could you find your way back? And I have an answer for that as well. So here's the thing about relationships that I've figured out after all of these years. When a human relationship breaks down, reconciliation requires both people to make some changes. You can fix yourself, and you can then hope that the other person is going to fix themselves, forgive. There's going to be forgiveness. They're going to welcome you back. But with Jesus, it's completely different because he is always ready and willing to take you back. He never stopped loving you. He never moved on. He never found someone else. He's just there waiting for you to decide whether you want to come back. So you may have broken up with Jesus, but he never broke up with you. And so the only work that's really required is this willingness to say yes. And it's not intellectual work. It's not going to be reading the right book or listening to the right podcast or hearing the right thing. All of those things matter. We always want to be finding information that's going to help us. But it's never going to be strictly an intellectual decision. It's going to have to come from deep inside of you. And so that's what I'm going to be addressing in the Heavenly Treasures newsletter this week. And, how do you show up? What is that small yes that's going to put you into the path where you're going to actually start to be in the presence of Jesus again? So is there part of your relationship with Jesus that has gone cold? Maybe you haven't broken up. I explain and share a little bit about my story in the Heavenly Treasures this week too, about when I did sort of drift away, not necessarily totally leaving the relationship, but I fully understand now, looking back, why it happened and what it took to come back. So I'm going to share all of that with you as well. So what we're always looking for is that warmth, that feeling that we are well received, that we do understand that we are loved, and that we feel that we loving toward that other person in the relationship. So I'll be going a lot deeper into this, and I am going to actually share. This person that wrote the post was asking, right, for podcasts and books and trainings and things and people that, might be able to make the case for Christianity. And so in the newsletter, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite books and podcasts and devotionals and things that have helped me to come back in a deeper way. But those weren't the be all and the end all, right? And what worked for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, because there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of different ways that we can learn and study about Jesus. But there's this feeling in the heart is what really matters. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Please subscribe to this channel so that you will know when I go live. Hopefully it will be always on Tuesday. Please find the link to the Heavenly Treasures Weekly in the description and sign up for that so that you won't miss it this Sunday. And keep ascending. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.